Hey, everybody, it's Alan Lowe, and here we are back at the Flagler Voice podcast studio. We've got another great Business Expo show to do today, and I'm really excited because we have somebody with us that is into what we'll call a little bit of alternative medicine. I am not so thrilled with regular medicine, pill popping, and stuff like that. So let's listen to something that might be more helpful and more healthy. Josh, how are you doing today?
Yeah, doing pretty good. Had to think about that for a second, but no, blessed. And alternative medicine is fantastic. There's a lot of growth in the industry. I like to call it primary medicine because
Sure.
when we're truly healing, we're working with the power that's already within us. So every paper cut you've ever had, every stubbed toe, what made us out of two cells into the beings we are, that power is still with us. And that was there before any drug ever entered our system. And there's a time and place for drugs and surgery.
Oh, yeah,
Obviously.
I don't argue that.
Yeah. There's a time and place for them. And every other time and place, I'd like to, and that's what I like to offer folks, giving them an opportunity and the education. Because a lot of folks don't know what they don't know.
Well, let's talk about that for a second. What is your business and how can they get in touch with you?
Yeah, Pivotal Health Systems, Chiropractic, Soft Wave, and Nutrition. 386-283-6269. And also checking out our website, pivotalhealthsystems.com, or following us on Facebook. We have monthly events. We have epigenetic coaches come through and do workshops. And then I do a workshop every month called Self-Care Boot Camp, where I try to educate patients and anybody else from the public who wants to come on little things that they could do every day to maintain themselves. Like, think about it. If you have, what's your dream car, Alan?
Porsche 911.
Okay. Yeah, same. I'd like to get like a rally edition.
Yes.
With little extra headlights on it, roof rack and all. Now, with that's in your garage. You're out there every day,
Right.
tuning up, a little bit of waxing here and there. You're doing everything you can to fine tune and make sure it's at its best. I encourage the same vigilance for our bodies. And so that's what that workshop is. So you want to see if you're a good fit for the practice. If I'm a good fit for you, then I'd say come to a workshop. That's a great place to start.
Yeah, that sounds fantastic. I have not been to your workshops. I actually, up until about 12 days ago, just, I knew I had prediabetes, but I just coasted along like I had been my entire life until I did a glucose test and found out I was 403 and then had to go into an instant lifestyle change, major lifestyle change. And I did it. And, at first it was a lot of willpower to do it, but it's only been 12 days. And I got to tell you, well, I had a doctor tell me that I could never reverse my insulin resistance without, actually he said I could never reverse it, and I would need pills and medication in order to continue, which totally is wrong. That was into the pill pushing part that I mentioned on the intro. I 100% believe in our body healing itself as long as we give it the right energy, food, and direction.
Yeah, healing happens, but there are caveats. Things need to be in place. Need to have the right resources.
Yes.
So it isn't just automatic. And I have a 2-year-old son now, and he falls down and he gets a bump or bruise. He got a spider bite, pretty bad spider bite a couple weeks ago actually. But just seeing him grow and heal, it's automatic. It's enviable in a way. And as we gracefully age, we get to be a little more aware of what it takes.
Yeah.
And then trying to take those same principles and apply it to the next generation. So I'm sure you've already told your son about the diet and the lifestyle.
Oh yeah, he's with me every day. He's 30. His lifestyle is what my old one was, gas station food and whatever. And he's seeing the change in me, so hopefully he'll adopt some of it.
And that's what I love about the work I do. Is like one of the founders, developers of chiropractic, B.J. Palmer, would say, you never know how far-reaching something you think, say, or do is going to affect the lives of millions tomorrow. And so, yeah, it's an adjustment. I could adjust someone between their shoulder blades. Okay, great. Shoulders moving better, breathing a little bit deeper. That's where the adjustment starts. If someone's able to breathe more deeply, what would you do if more oxygen hit your brain, right?
Right.
If you're able to use your arm better, you're going to go home and maybe you'll spend more time with your child in your arms. Maybe you'll be able to play with your grandkids a little bit more. Maybe able to go out fishing. So I try to see past the adjustment into the actual life that gets to live. And sometimes it's quality of life. Sometimes it's quantity of life too. Most patients, I'll have them do a full squat, get down on the floor, do a push-up. And there's kind of this funny moment with some where it's like, yeah, I can't do a push-up. It's humbling, borderline humiliating for some. And it's, might laugh like, oh my gosh, I thought I could do it, but it's extremely serious.
Right.
I've fallen and I can't get up. That's a reality. So I'd recommend everyone, just go and do a push-up with, with, have someone watch and there to help you. But that's a great way to make sure that your body's able to handle things like falls. It's heartbreaking to see someone 60s, 70s, and beyond trying to heal from a fall.
Yeah.
And there's a lot that needs to be done years and decades beforehand.
Well, I turned 65 this coming May, so up until a few months ago, I was immortal in my own mind. Then I felt, getting up out of bed in the morning and the creaks and the cracks and the standing up, when you stand up, you go, ah. All subconsciously, but there it is. And so the signals are there. So I might be starting a little late, but at least I'm starting and hopefully improving my lifestyle.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a matter of momentum.
Yeah.
And I know you have, an excellent professional life. You have a lot of good energy here. You're strong-willed. You've had a lot of success in your life. So everything in our life builds momentum, either in one direction or the other. And so I'll talk to patients about the two principles of pivoting and then momentum. You got to make sure you're facing in the right direction, like you experienced with the kind of impromptu blood tests
Right.
that you had. It's like, okay, we're going to make a change. And I think it was at Parkview, years back. And one of the sermons was, if you say a prayer, more likely going to read the Bible. Say a prayer and read the Bible. Might end up going to church. You do that long enough, then you join small. And the principle shared was about momentum, and I realized that it applied in healthcare as well. So just start somewhere. If you feel like the goal is, to anybody listening who might feel overwhelmed and you have this vision that you won't even acknowledge of what you want for your health, just get the ball rolling. And that could look like just go right now and go drink a glass of water.
Right.
Go take 10 deep breaths. I try to break it down into the 4 elements: earth, wind, water, and fire. Yeah, fire. So thank you. I don't know how to do that, just saying. So yeah, earth is just getting in, obviously, some good food, maybe get some grounding emotionally. Air would be just breathing deeply. What a concept. Both in and out. And then water is kind of speaks for itself. And then fire is movement. And so that's a little checklist I use for myself essentially every hour to make sure that there's a good elemental balance within the body.
Sure. It's interesting with that too. I had clues about my blood sugar level that I didn't feel anything. I felt perfectly fine. But I was drinking, say, 10 to 15 bottles of water a day. And it didn't click into me, why am I drinking suddenly? Because I didn't used to. All of a sudden, I just had an unsatiable thirst. Now, it's interesting now because now I'm never hungry anymore, and I'm never thirsty anymore. So I have to force myself to drink some water and to eat. It's interesting how it's a complete reversal that I now have to force myself to do things that before I was a glutton on things.
What an amazing change that is. What comes to mind is the value of habits.
Yeah.
And personally speaking, and maybe this is true across the board, but morning time is the best time for habits, because we wake up, we kind of have that morning mystical haze. Things are still going. Our conscious mind isn't fully in place to derail, so getting a good morning routine around water and food and movement, it might be a little bit of a kickstart in that, but that's going to be a great way to safeguard, and not doing it alone either. So a lot of times lifestyle changes need to be done with the entire household, right? And so,
My wife, interestingly enough, interestingly you say that, she eats or tries to eat extremely healthy, mostly because she's had 2 kidney transplants, and she's doing excellent. Amazingly excellent. And but because of that, she's diet and exercise and everything conscious, which I completely ignored, until all of a sudden, I hit the brick wall, and now I have to. So there is a good support system in my home, but you're 100% right. You can do it alone, but it is so much better, so much easier, and so much more mentally satisfying to do it along with somebody else.
Yeah, and starting in July, we're actually rolling out greater incentives on membership. One of the values that I can offer is accountability. So coming through auto debit once a month, you have at least one visit with me. And yeah, it's an adjustment. But you also know that at least once a month, you're going to have someone checking in with you on your health goals. You're going to have someone that can offer some preliminary screenings, maybe send you to a Wright referral if necessary. But the incentives we're putting in place is for families. And a family referral is the greatest compliment I've ever received. If someone sends in mother, especially children, then it's a great compliment. And I believe that the family that heals together grows together. It's the most powerful thing we have on earth. So
sure,
the incentives there can have some pretty decent savings for those that do family plans on memberships.
That's awesome. So we're actually running low on time. It goes by quick. But before we do, tell us about your business real quick again, and how to get a hold of you, where you're located, and all of that.
Yeah, Pivotal Health Systems, Chiropractic, Soft Wave, and Nutrition. Quick comment on the Soft Wave. It's for chronic joint pain, FDA cleared for connective tissue regeneration, getting some amazing results. We're located off 21 Old Kings Road North, just above LabCorp. And 386-283-6269 by phone, reaching out through our Facebook page or our website. We have a promotion now for new patients, whether you're coming in for chiropractic, soft wave, or for a nutritional focus. It'll be $37, and that gets the ball rolling. And it's
$37,
yeah,
wow.
It's $181 value. So if I do my job right, you're going to feel like you're getting an amazing deal. But at that point, we agree on a point A and a point B. I'm very results oriented. And then we do an evaluation to see if I can help, if I'm a good fit, and then what it'll take to get you from A to B, maybe even a point C, because why not, right?
Yeah, sure. Once you've achieved your goal, set a next.
Yeah, and then there's a treatment that's included in that, just so you can understand how I work, and then also so that you walk out the door at least feeling a little bit better. I try to get relief going as soon as possible. Then we have you back for a report. Typical programs last between 1 to 2 months, depending on the bag of tricks. I pull from between $600, $1,500 typically over the first couple months. We have payment plans, so don't turn anyone away based on finances. And our vision is we just want to see people heal, and we're trying to find the best ways to make it happen.
Oh, that's fantastic. I really appreciate you coming in. I think that people have a lot to learn. I'm a baby dieter or lifestyle changer right now. I did it. I just did it. And now I have to learn the proper path to go. So I'm going to be tugging on your sleeve for information. I appreciate you being here today, and I hope we're able to come back and talk about more alternative health.
Absolutely. It's a great place to be. Thank you, Alan.
All right. Everybody, have a great day.